these things together.
Yeah, absolutely. I love to talk about different topics. And today I'm really looking at it from the perspective of students who are capturing their portfolios through their K-12 education. And then what does this look like when they move on to college or they move on to a career? And how do they keep building their portfolios? What do they need to keep in mind for that? So I love that Bulb gets to go with you, whether when you leave school, you get to take Bulb with you and keep building it. And I love this quote by Dolly Parton. She said, "Find out who you are and do it on purpose." And I think this really speaks a lot to what I really vision for a portfolio, because a portfolio is really a tool for you as much as it is to showcase your stuff to others. And what I mean by that is that in your portfolio, you should be collecting evidence and ideas and work that allows you to reflect and discover who you are. So that would be goals, putting goals that you have, goals, long-term goals, short-term goals, and then revisiting those goals in your portfolio and starting to make connections to the things that you're doing and adding those things to your portfolio and saying, if my goal is to work on my communication skills, what things have I done recently that demonstrate progress towards that goal? And being able to reflect on what are some of those interesting careers, what are the things that I'm liking in my studies, being able to capture that information in a portfolio, and then being able to revisit that often will help propel you. We know goal setting and future thinking and planning and exploration is all important as you grow into your professional career and to grow as a professional. And so keeping and practicing that habit now and into college and as a professional is really helpful. And then the other side of your portfolios, as you're going about that, it lends itself to collecting those artifacts that are much more about that showcase. What are the things that you're showing off? What story do you want to tell? And what things do you want to put into that story? So let's just take a look at an example here of what this looks like. Now, this is a high school student, but just reminding you of some of the key things that you'd be doing in your portfolio and how you do this in college as well, is being able to keep up your resume. So starting your resume, many of you already have started your resume, and adding to your experience and adding to your education and these other items down here: interests, passions, community service, extracurriculars. What are you doing in college? What are you involved in? And this will help you think about what do you need to put in your portfolio through those experiences. So many of you in college are going to be doing some kind of job shadowing, practicum, internships, actually jobs. Having documenting those experiences and then adding them to your digital resume is a great way for you to really think about what Bulb looks like for you in college. And then depending on what your college professor asks of you, you may actually do your project in Bulb and submit it directly with Bulb. Or Caitlin here has a beautiful portfolio where she's taken it from college to career. And she has her professional and her favorites and travel, adventures, journal, cooking. So she uses it both for professional and personal use. And inside her professional, she also has her stuff from university studies where she talks about her major and minor. She did a really great job on this page. Here's why I got this degree. And as a business student, this is what it's about. And this is what my majors are about. Being able to clearly identify that and being able to put that on and attach that to your digital resume could be really powerful. And then she has selected several college projects that she did. Now, she didn't necessarily do all of these projects directly in Bulb. Some of these projects were done outside of Bulb, and then she brought them into her portfolio to make sure that she had access to them. And I think if you ask any adult now to be like, hey, where are some of those key college projects that you did, and do you wish you had access to them? And they would say, yes, we wish we had a place where we could easily use them. Because there's a lot of great experience and work that you do in college. And so here's a capstone project that she did. It was a semester long project. And she gives us a nice little intro here about the assignment. And this was something like an 83-page paper. And she is able to, 87, able to embed this directly into bulbs. So she has that capstone project in her portfolio, and then takes the time to kind of pull out a few key things from that project really that stood out to her, and was able to put that in her portfolio along with some other projects that she had done as well. She was an HR major, so talent management plan, and she created that. And now she has these because when she goes to look for a job, she's not going to have a lot of job experience. So what are those employers going to look for? Show me some evidence that you're going to be successful. What kind of work have you done? Well, a lot of that work was done in college. And so she's able to demonstrate that directly from her portfolio. I love this quote. Testing gives you a snapshot, but portfolios give you a movie. And I really love that idea that this is a movie that takes you through your journey. You're telling your story through your portfolio. I also want you to think about the kinds of things you put in your portfolio. So if your portfolio is about you showing your strengths, a lot of people demonstrate their strengths in different ways. So you might write a lot of papers in school, but your best way to express yourself might be through video, and you do a great job of editing and creating videos. Or you might be more inclined to music and you create and express yourself through music or art and design. You might be great at audible speaking and presenting in front of people, and maybe a little bit more challenged when it comes to the written word. You might be great at coding. And so think about the portfolio is giving you an opportunity to express your strengths in the things that you're doing through the medium that shows you off the best. You can use a variety of all of these different mediums to be able to showcase your strengths. Okay, here's the biggest one about continuing your portfolio and why it's so important. We all have a digital footprint, and many of us, that footprint is on social media, and it could be other places as well. But this portfolio is a place for you to create a positive digital footprint where you are the director of your story. You get to really determine how you present yourself to the world, and you can leverage that portfolio to be the thing that comes up when you're Googled, the thing that you showcase and share when you're going after a job or trying to get into a program or a scholarship. And you go, look at what I have, look at my story, tell that story through your portfolio. Because for many of us, that social media footprint is that personal side of us. It is something that, you know, that we do with our friends, and not necessarily maybe the exact story that we want to show as a professional. So create that digital, that positive digital footprint through your portfolio. Okay, I love this. As you are graduating and you're starting to think about those next steps, whether that's college or a career, you and all of your K-12 education has been helping you grow in this area too. Ultimately, you are growing your skills to be successful in the workforce. So the Future Jobs Report listed the top skills for the workforce. And these are things you probably have heard about, these soft skills, 21st century skills. These are the things that are most important that they're looking for, these qualities that they're looking for in their employees that they hire: analytical thinking, active learning, technology design, creativity, critical thinking, complex problem solving. So could you imagine putting on a resume and be like, I'm creative, or I am an analytical thinker? Well, anyone could put that, right? What does that actually mean? What does that really look like? That's where a portfolio really stands out and allows you to actually put evidence behind those words, to be able to show what is an example of something that you have done that demonstrates analytical thinking or creativity. So Keith here has done a beautiful job of kind of taking some of those key skills. He has identified the skills that are most applicable to him around building relationships, learning dedication, taking initiative, and making a difference. And he has used an example from his education to be able to showcase how that came to life. And can you imagine if this and said, I'm really great at taking initiative was just a word on a resume, or if it was, I take initiative on my Bulb digital resume and I attach this collection showing you how I started a lawn mowing business. And he did a really great job talking about starting out, my first summer job, I needed a way to make money. He didn't want to be lifeguard anymore. Talks about growing the business and pulling in a lot of key things that he's learned in his education around what does it take to have a business? We had to advertise. What is that going to look like? What kind of impression is he going to get? Cheap and non-committal, quality and customization. I mean, there's a lot of really, really great things that he documents in here. Talks about adapting and ends the collection really saying, hey, here was the rewards. This is what I found around my business, and I got to buy my first car. What an incredible story that he has now the ability to attach to his resume to be able to showcase some of those key critical skills that employers are looking for. Can you imagine that an employer might be really highly interested in him looking at his Bulb digital resume with this kind of evidence of work versus something that just had the word I take initiative on a piece of paper, on a paper resume? So these are the kinds of things that you are starting to do through middle school and high school, and that you will continue to do and add to your portfolio as you're getting these experiences in college, and then you can continue to use these in your career as well. So let me just show you another kind of college example. Brooke has done a nice job of keeping up her portfolio through college. She did a semester at sea and kind of used it as a journal of her experiences. A lot of you are taking educational type trips, things like that. Could be a semester abroad. Being able to document that journey and have that beautifully displayed in your portfolio, you will be so grateful that you took the time to capture that experience, and what a great thing to be able to show off as well. And then also within her college studies, she had quite a few different things that she wanted to make sure that kind of showed some of her best skills. So she has some pieces of writing that she did for college, writing skills, and demonstrating solid writing skills is an excellent thing to show on your digital resume and to be able to show to employers. She also had done an internship here, several internships actually, and being able to document those different internships and say, this is the experience I had. These are the kinds of things that I did. She did a nice job of using different multimedia and giving samples of the kinds of things that she did within that internship. Here's another one, account service representative. And she really talks about what she learned from that company. And so these are the kinds of experiences that you're going to be having post-graduation. And some of you are having them right well as when you're in high school. So making sure that you become a documentarian of what you do and adding those to your portfolio. Just a reminder, this is a recommendation of some key things that everyone should have in their portfolios. You need to have your work samples, your intern, that would include the internships and the things that you're doing, projects that you do for school. You need to have, what are you passionate about? What other hobbies do you have? Document that, showcase that in your portfolio. Keep track of your awards, accolades, and accomplishments. It's amazing how easy it is for us to forget all of these things that we're involved in. And then when you have to go fill out applications and write your college essays or get into another, master's program, things like that, and you have to go back, if you have already documented these in your portfolio, and make your life easier and your application richer because you're easily able to go back to the work that you've collected in your portfolio. My favorite quote lately: become a documentarian of what you do. And I think this really speaks to embedding the practice of portfolios and having that as a regular part of your life as you're experiencing that, being like, is that portfolio worthy? Do I need to put that in my portfolio? Does that show growth? Does that show interest? Or is that something I want to showcase as work that I've created? So hopefully that inspires you on different ways that you can use Bulb and thinking about continuing that portfolio journey into college, into your professional career as well. Oh, and let me show you, sorry, one other thing I wanted to show you, just speaking of professional career, going back to Caitlin's portfolio where we looked at some of her college work. When you open up her professional work as well, she's done a great job of documenting her work, her projects, her accomplishments, creating videos, templates, doing challenges, reviews, planning. And she's done a really great job of every month she goes in and documents something that she has done in her job. And then when she goes to do her professional review every year, her yearly review, that's very common in the professional world, she easily can go back to some of these things and say, look at the impact that I've made, look at what I've contributed. And she's kind of documented this every month. These are the things that I've been doing, and has evidence of those in here as well. So again, those portfolios move easily from your high school education onto college, onto career. And that digital resume and having that interactive resume with those artifacts of learning will really help you stand out as you're trying to pursue those different opportunities.
Bria?
Yeah, great question. So Bulb goes with the student. So if the student transfers or graduates, leaves that school, which the school has paid for their Bulb account, that Bulb account gets converted to what we call our Bulb free account. So they can still log in, they have access, they can create pages. They will have a couple limitations on that free account where they can only have 10 published pages at a time. And they do have some limits on their storage, but they will have complete access and they will never lose access to any of their work. So if they had published more than 10 pages or had more storage than was on our free account, that won't become unpublished. We won't delete anything. So that allows them for life, for free, to be able to continue to use their Bulb portfolio. If they want, and they're building a lot in their portfolio and they want more than 10 published pages, or they need more storage within their portfolio, they can individually purchase it for a yearly subscription. It's $30. And they can decide that year by year if they want to keep up that subscription. And if they decide not to, then again, it just goes to that free account. They don't lose access. They don't lose any of their work. They can continue to access it on our free platform.
Gotcha.
Yeah, great question. Anything else?
I think it's a